Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Represent, bringing justice from courtroom to community virtual funder briefing. My name is Jeannie Adams, and I'm a proud board member at Youth Represent. We are so thankful to have you all here with us today, and we're excited to share our work and let you know about all the incredible things we've been up to. Our powerful mission is to ensure that young people affected by the criminal legal system are afforded every opportunity to fulfill lives of dignity, self-fulfillment, and engagement in their communities. We are also very fortunate to have a passionate, creative, and inspiring staff and board, some of whom you'll hear from today. We do this meaningful work through an innovative and award-winning community lawyering model that closely partners with community-based organizations throughout the city. In a difficult year when our criminal legal system created additional barriers to justice, we rose to meet that challenge. Today, you will hear about our work in policy reform, strategic litigation, and direct legal services, a three-pronged approach to achieving true systems change on behalf of youth. And now, our presentation is about to begin. And for the best viewing experience, please choose Gallery View in Zoom. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Kate Rubin. I'm the Director of Policy here at Youth Represent. It's so nice to be here and to see a bunch of familiar faces and many new faces. So I'll just jump right in and say, through our policy work at Youth Represent, we push for changes to the systems that target Black and Brown youth with arrests, incarceration, and criminal records, rather than providing them the resources that all young people need. Much of this work is through legislation. For instance, we're currently building a campaign for the Youth Justice and Opportunity Act, which would reduce incarceration and criminal records for thousands of young people up to age 25. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. We were part of the campaign to pass the Fair Chance Act, which bars employers from asking questions about criminal history on job applications. And we've helped push successfully for enhancements to the law over the years to strengthen it. We were one of the lead organizations in New York's campaign to raise the age of adult prosecution to 18. Raise the age was complicated. I know many of you here today were there and remember. It was both a hard-fought victory and nothing close to the transformative change that we need to see in New York's youth justice system. We knew that there was more work to do to build on Raise the Age when it passed in 2017, but legislators, even our closest allies, told us that they needed to see the data once the law went into effect. So we collaborated with CUNY and the Children's Defense Fund to create a participatory action research project, working with young people to document the implementation of Raise the Age through court watch, surveys, and youth focus groups. Through that project, we've been able to uplift some of the successes of Raise the Age. Since the law went into effect, thousands fewer young people are arrested each year. Arrests of 16-year-olds alone dropped by 41% in 1 year when the law went into effect. Detention and long-term incarceration of youth under 18 also dropped substantially. And of course, under Raise the Age, all youth under 18 were moved off of Rikers Island permanently. But our research also has highlighted how much more needs to change. We've continued to fight for more reforms, pushing our legal system to treat youth as youth. Since Raise the Age passed, we've won legislation eliminating or allowing judges to waive court fees and fines for youth under 21, ending the arrest of and juvenile prosecution of children under 12, although that law is not yet signed, and allowing young people who were denied youthful offender treatment as teenagers a second chance to request it and have their records sealed. That law was just signed last month by Governor Hochul. We've also spent the last year building the infrastructure and getting ready to launch the campaign for the Youth Justice and Opportunities Act, which I mentioned in the intro. If passed, this bill would reduce incarceration, shorten sentences, and increase record sealing for young people up to age 25. 18 to 25-year-olds, all of whom are automatically charged as adults in New York, make up about 10% of the population, but about 25%, a quarter of arrests in the state. We've spent the last year both drafting a really comprehensive piece of legislation to address this, but also recruiting a steering committee that includes directly impacted youth, alongside service providers, attorneys, advocates, and organizers, making all the key decisions about the campaign. And legislation is just one area of work. We hear over and over again from young people that we work with that while reforms to the criminal legal system are crucial, they also want to see policy changes that shift resources away from incarceration and law enforcement and into their communities, preventing legal system involvement in the first place. This focus informs our budget advocacy work, which includes campaigns to close youth prisons and reinvest dollars in communities of color, and our work with Communities United for Police Reform, pushing for crucial services like mediating school conflicts, homeless outreach, and responding to mental health crises to be done by trained professionals and not by the police. One of the really valuable things that Youth Represent brings to the table in all our work is that we're multidisciplinary. So policy advocacy work that I do is just one of the tools that we use for systemic reform. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our newest staff member, Shomari Ward, to talk about Youth Represent's strategic litigation work, which he leads.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shomari Ward, and I'm the new Director of Litigation. In my short time here, I've seen the beginnings of impactful cases centering our young clients. And these cases stem from claims against employers whose discriminatory practices stymie our clients' ability to be gainfully employed. Our clients work really hard every day to live full lives unencumbered by their past indiscretions. However, because of a client's criminal history for a youth, from a youth riddled with systemic oppression and lack of meaningful opportunities, employers unlawfully seize an opportunity to curtail our clients' growth. Challenging these unlawful employment practices helps our clients get one step closer to job opportunities that pave the way for a higher quality of life, if only incrementally. In time, we aim to broaden the scope of our strategic litigation efforts beyond the bounds of employment discrimination. But for now, our strategic litigation practice holds corporations accountable to the laws we help pass. Well, what does that mean? It means, in short, that we use laws our legislative advocates like Kate and many others have championed as a mechanism for social change, irrespective of scale. The societal ills our clients face often are systematic and rooted in laws, policies, and practices that have plagued indigent Black and Brown communities for centuries. As these discriminatory laws get rolled back, and new, more fair and progressive laws replace those draconian laws, Youth Represent sees an obligation to ensure that corporations with which our clients interact treat them fairly and in accordance with these updated laws. Litigation is a useful tool in Youth Represent's toolbox. As such, we plan to utilize litigation to our clients' benefit as often as possible. To date, we have secured as much as $7.54 million in settlement funds that have been dispersed to approximately 21,300 people with criminal legal system experience. I'm incredibly proud to be working for young clients Youth Represent serves. In my short time here, I've been so inspired by the work. I'm looking forward to getting to know you all and bringing change to the lives of the young folks we serve. But for all the strategic litigation work to be meaningful and actually bring about transformative change, it must be driven by our knowledge around and the direct experience of young folks facing systemic harm every day. And that's why our strategic litigation begins with real, direct experience working with clients on the ground, which is why I'm happy to introduce my colleague, Dale Ventura, who is our Director of Community and Legal Partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Shomari. Hi, everybody. My name is Dale Ventura, and I am the Director of Community Legal Partnerships at Youth Represent. Under our third direct legal services prong, we provide comprehensive, free legal representation to youth across New York. Many of our youth come from communities of color that are over-policed and overrepresented in our criminal legal system. Arrests or convictions often have consequences far beyond the closing or dismissal of a case. Right? Contact with the system, right? No matter how brief, can have a lasting impact, from a job denial to losing your home, to not being able to be a continuous presence in your child's life, to being seen only as a number, another statistic in the revolving door of the criminal legal system. Our direct services work seeks to end this cycle by directly supporting and representing youth on legal matters that eliminate these barriers and present opportunities for greater stability and positive long-term outcomes. We represent youth in matters involving employment, education, housing, name and gender marker changes, family and criminal court. We deliver our direct services through a community lawyering model where our attorneys connect with partners all across the city. And we go where our clients are at, whether that's a school, a hospital clinic, or a homeless youth shelter. We enter these spaces to not only provide our legal services to youth, but to also uplift their voices and equip them with knowledge around the law through our Know Your Rights workshops. To further illustrate our work, I want to take this moment to briefly share with you one of our client stories. His name is Mark, whose name I've changed to maintain confidentiality. Mark was a 23-year-old who'd been denied a security guard license because of criminal convictions from when he was just 17. To obtain his license, Mark would have to testify at a hearing about the details of his convictions, but he struggled to speak calmly and effectively about these details. See, Mark had been in and out of foster care since he was 8 years old. And after aging out, he became homeless. Now, we learned that these convictions stem from when Mark was residing in a residential treatment center for older kids in foster care, where he was terribly mistreated and abused. Using principles of trauma-informed lawyering, we slowly were able to help Mark open up and prepare his testimony in a way that allowed him to share his truth. At the day of the hearing, Mark testified not only about his convictions, but reframed it around the positive strides he had made, how he picked himself up after he became homeless, how he completed his GED and maintained steady employment. He talked about his past convictions with a level of maturity and insight that made a deep impression on the judge who ruled in Mark's favor. Mark, who now has his security guard license, is just one of the many lives we have been able to directly impact through our legal representation. And now, for a fuller picture of the work we do, we would like to share a video of our mission in action.
I am more than my record. When I was 18, I was arrested and given a criminal record. I am now 23 and I have been completely free from the system since I was a teenager. But the legal system didn't want to let me move on. I kept trying to get a job. I kept getting rejected. It was so frustrating because I knew I could be an amazing employee, but no one would ever give me a chance. But then a friend told me to call Youth Represent. I had no idea when I called I would get a whole team on my side. They got a copy of my record and walked me through how to explain it on a job application. But they didn't stop there. They also fought for me to get a job. And about a year later, they even called me and told me that the law changed and I could now apply to get my old conviction sealed. Together, we sealed my case. So now I have no more record, which feels amazing. I don't have to worry about people judging me about my past. I have always felt Youth Represent was more than just my lawyers, and I was more than just a client. They actually cared about me and my family. They believed in me. They knew that I am more than my record, and they showed up. My name is Kathy. I live in Harlem. I have a young daughter, a job, and I'm proud to stand with Youth Represent.
I mute myself. I love that video. I love two things about that video. I love the client story first and foremost, and I also love that we had a technical lag in the beginning because we will not get out of this this remote work environment without constant technical type problems. But Anyway, hi everybody. I know many of you, for those that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Mike Pope and I'm the Executive Director here at Youth Represent. I want to begin by saying thank you, looking to Shamari, to Dale, to Kate, and to Jeannie. I am deeply lucky to work alongside of each of you. And also thanks to you all for attending this event and supporting Youth Represent. Many of you are longtime advocates and supporters. Eileen, Alex, Michael, April, many of you guys I'm just excited to see at the event here today. We just so deeply appreciate your support. Most of you know our mission well, which is to ensure that young folks affected by the criminal legal system are afforded every opportunity to reclaim lives of dignity, self-fulfillment, and engagement in their communities. Throughout this pandemic, we've not only continued to serve our mission, but have done so in a way that is building an incredible foundation for the future of our organization, for the future of criminal system reform, and most importantly, for the future of the young people we serve. We're still meeting with clients every day. This is our office here, be that virtually or in person, because we believe in them, in their futures, and in the impact that can be had where we break down the legal barriers that would hinder their success. I was asked a question from a longtime supporter of Youth Represent last week that I've been thinking about ever since. They asked me to put simply what it means to be a part of Youth Represent. Now, in typical Mike style, everybody remember I am still a lawyer at heart. I gave some long, wordy answer that talked about fighting the systems of oppression, the power of our multifaceted direct services, strategic litigation and policy. I talked about the hundreds of young people that we've represented this year in family court and in criminal court and employment matters that all wouldn't have had anybody standing next to them. Now, my answer was anything but brief. So if you could indulge me in a second, I'd like to try to answer that question again. What it means to be a supporter of Youth Represent, be it through giving dollars or experience, volunteer work as board service or as staff. It means that you share our belief in the intrinsic value of young people, all young people, and believe in the transformative impact of what can happen when we get out of their way and let young people thrive. Because at its core, this is who we are and what we stand for, the young people that we serve. For those of you who support us, thank you. For those of you that are learning more, we welcome you to be a part of this Youth Represent. Because honestly, our future of this organization is exciting. The next year, we are so thrilled to kick off our 15th year anniversary, which is wild, but 15 years. And as part of this kickoff plan, we plan to introduce to announce a strategic plan that will expand our partnership model to connect with smaller community-based nonprofits, to deepen our direct legal services, offering support to young folks in the ever-changing legal landscape of New York, to increase our strategic litigation work, including the announcement of a multi-million-dollar settlement early next year, and to kick off a series of innovative and responsive legislative campaigns that Kate was talking about earlier, including the Youth Justice and Opportunity Act. Again, none of this would be possible without you, our allies and supporters. So we thank you deeply for caring about these issues, for showing up when we need you to, and supporting both Youth Represent and the criminal legal system reforms that are necessary at large. And with that, I would like to introduce my colleague, my partner on this crazy Youth Represent journey. Youth Represent is very, very lucky and honored to have Maggie Lear as our board chair. So I'd love to, Maggie, bring you into the virtual room and hand it off to you. Thank you, everybody. Excited to connect with you all in the new year.
Hi, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to see so many of you here today. So many friends here. Donna, I'm looking around at Sal. You know, we've got amazing group of supporters, Eileen, with us today. So thank you all so much for joining. I am really fortunate to be a part of Youth Represent as the board chair. And I get to work with people like Shamari and Kate and Dale and Mike, who also, by the way, produced the video. So if you all need any kind of production work done, you know, he's available to do that. He doesn't work hard enough as our ED.
Sorry.
I just want to thank you again. You know, we can't do this work without our partners, and you are our partners. So thank you so much. We have campaigns that you can be involved in, our Youth Justice and Opportunity Act. We have our website, as you know, so please, we try to update that regularly, so please check back in with us. Stay tuned for more as we unveil our next plans for Youth Represent, as we try to reach more young people to do more good on behalf of the city, in a city that truly, truly needs the work of Youth Represent. It has been a pleasure to spend part of the afternoon with you all, and thank you so much for joining us. Am I turning it over now, Mike? I'm sorry. Am I turning it back to you, or is that it?
Nope. I think that is, that is the completion of our program. We appreciate you all, and thank you for joining.
Happy holidays, stay well and safe, everyone. And we'll talk to you more soon.